Hey guys, welcome back to my first CS video since getting back, and it's been a long time, but today I hope I deliver on my promises. Now we're going to look at the top teams for prize money between May and August of 2016, which is the second third of the year. You can check out my first video, I'll put an annotation or a card in this video somewhere, and we're also going to look at the top teams for prize money between January and August of 2016. Now I just wanted to say that this is going to be a long video, and I'm sorry that you have to sit through it, but I do understand that some people just want to get to the juicy bits. So if you want to skip, you can basically get the annotation on the screen right now, or you can actually check timestamps in the description. Now, I hope you watched the whole video as I put a lot of research into it, and I hope it shows, but I would also appreciate if you shared this video around to get the word out about how strong the CSGO scene is and how big of an esport it is. This can help to continue the growth of it, as more statistics like these can lead to stronger investment in the esport and to help players out in the long run through having more funds available through tournaments. So thank you, and I hope you learned something new, and let's get on with it. So why do I do this list/lists? Well, I feel it's necessary to highlight the achievements of all rosters, and that prize money really is a good metric. For instance, it can show how consistent a team is. So let's take a team like Fnatic. On this table, which you're going to see later on this video, you'll see that they're consistently in the top 4 for their placings, and that their placing reflects a team which stays near the top at almost every tournament. And as a result, they get a pretty high placing in terms of money. Now, if you were to contrast this to a team like FaZe, who sits between the middle or last placings at tournaments, it reflects where they stand in terms of prize money, which is 15th on this list for the total of all the 8 months combined. Now, secondly, prize money also shows how valuable a team is. So from this list, you can easily see how valuable a team is to an organization by what kind of prize money that they're raking in for the organization. So some teams simply are not worth what you buy them for. And again, a great example is FaZe. They earned around $120,000, yes, spoilers alert, and the organization probably bought players and the whole roster for more than that. So yes, of course, this list doesn't take into account things like sticker money and sponsorship deals, but sometimes when those things run dry, it can be hard for an organization to verify their decision to buy a certain roster or players. If they really cannot earn that back through prize money, then organizations have to make business decisions, because organizations are businesses after all, and buying a player or a roster is an investment, and you can judge how smart that investment is purely off prize money. But of course, probably an organization would take into account things like sticker money and sponsorship money, but we don't have that number on hand, so there's not much I can do about it. But lastly, I do see that these lists show a sense of progression, particularly for teams throughout the entire year, and you can see where they peaked in their performance. So some teams start off hot, but then they burn out 3 months later, whereas others peak for most of the year, but then run out of steam by like November or something like that. And prize money can show where a team stands against their rivals, and it's pretty reliable in that sense. So for sure, there's always going to be an anomaly in that, a team can win the most valuable tournament of the year, if say had a theoretical prize pot of 20 million, then of course, if they won that thing, then they only peaked at that tournament and it wouldn't show consistency. But if you look at the year overall and in small chunks like my lists, which shows every 4 months of the year, you can see incrementally the growth and the period where the team peaked for performance. Now, again, I'm going to do some spoilers, but for instance, G2 in my last list was 21st in the placing. And they really hit great form in the last 4 months, and they've jumped all the way into the top 5 for the year so far. So you can see the growth of G2 for most of this year was actually in the summer period, whereas a team like Fnatic was consistent throughout the entire year and had really good placings. Now, also, I have some things to mention about this list. Basically, the Fnatic that you see in this list is the old roster with Olaf, Dennis, JW, Flusher, and Crims. Mainly because the roster didn't switch until after E-League, which is in September, and because that's not in the period, I didn't basically split them up into Godsent and Fnatic now, so I just kept them all as the one team. So all the rosters kept the money if they had 3 or more players from a particular roster that earned that money, And finally, that yes, the final tally is up until the 31st of August and no date further than that. So any money for September and after is not included. Same with roster changes. So enough waiting, let's get into the first list. So here's the top teams for prize money between the start of May and the end of August 2016. And I'll just run down the top 10 teams very quickly and some facts about their prize money. So as you can see, SK Gaming solidifies that they're the best team in the world through the metric that is prize money. They have a massive $875,000 in a mere 4 months, and that's pretty insane. Now, $500,000 of which actually came from their major win at ESL on Cologne 2016. Now next up we have VP with a massive $562,000 and $400,000 of which came off their unexpected E-League win. Now this was actually a pretty unexpected win in the sense that they actually had some very poor online results which relegated them out of the ESL Pro League, but now they actually got their form back and let's hope that they can keep it. Now next up is G2 Esports, who garnered $388,000 with their largest amount, which was $250,000, coming from their win at ECS Season 1 Finals against SK Gaming. The NA hope that is Team Liquid has managed to get into 4th place by putting Simple to good use with $294,000 in the bank thanks to their runner-up placement at the last major, Cologne 2016, which net them $150,000. Next up we have Tyloo, the beast from the east, who has actually surprised me with $227,000, most of which came from their large prize pots in their domestic tournaments. Now it's clear that from their showing at Star Ladder in September that they have been practicing really hard and have learned a lot more about the game. From this, though, I have to say they truly are the best Asian team, with a massive 20 tournament and qualifier wins in Asia this year alone. It seems that Chinese CS isn't as bad as I originally thought, so keep your eye out for Tyloo and any other international tournaments that they go to. Astralis ranks in at 7th place with $178,000, and although it's a bit disappointing, Astralis have maintained a ranking within the top 10, and that's incredibly important, mainly because it's better than I can say of some teams like FaZe, who managed to stay just ahead of Renegades by placing 18th. Now it's clear that Astralis have some issues getting deep into tournaments, but we've known that for a while. But now we can mostly count on them to move out of group stage and into the quarterfinals of a LAN. Their biggest rake was at E-League where they managed to finish 5th to 8th. Cloud9 have moved all the way up from 26th place in my last prize money ranking, and I have to definitely say adding Stewie was a good move for C9. Now they've allowed themselves to use brunt force and some new strategies to place quite decently in some tournaments. Now domestically, the team has also moved up to 1st place in the ESL Pro League, and after dropping Slemmy, it's clear that a good move was acquiring Automatic. Now they've dropped only a single map out of 24 and it was to Echo Fox. But on LAN, it is a bit of a tough story, but their 5th to 6th placing at ECS allowed them to gain their organization $65,000, and hopefully they can actually qualify for the next major and get some better tournament placings now that they have Automatic as opposed to Slemmy. NIP have had their moments, but after Malmo, everything has been pretty average, with placings between 4th and 8th. NIP have seemed to have some sort of resurgence with Michaelele, and hopefully they keep him and drop Pyth, as I feel he is the aggression that NIP needs. Either way, with Pyth, the team was able to place 7th to 8th at ECS and gain $50,000, and gain another $50,000 at E-League after again placing 5th to 8th. Now the last team that we're going to talk about is Optic, who managed to sneak their way just ahead of their domestic rivals TSM. Now there's nothing really to write home about, with mostly 56 placings at tournaments, but this has allowed them to pass into the top 10 for prize money. But you got to look at it this way, they're mostly very average results, but it does go to show that if you make it to a LAN, it's enough to move you that little bit further than if you pull off some wild inconsistent performance like TSM did. You can count on Optic to probably not make it out of groups at a tournament anytime soon, but hopefully they can work a little bit harder and pull off some upsets. Now, I won't bore you here much with the prize money between January and August of 2016, but I'll highlight some small things. Obviously, SK Gaming are the only team to earn over $1 million of prize money alone, and they're pretty close to that 1.5 mil mark. Cloud9 moves from 26th place all the way up to 12th. Tyloo have made massive money in domestic tournaments, allowing them to seat within the top 10. Fnatic, although they have broken up, have shown that a good consistent placing in the top 4 can make you a beast of a team in earning money. And I have to say, having the former best team in the world being no longer available to us as a spectator, I'm actually kind of sad because they had some really great matches. Now, FaZe have some disappointing results, considering their organization poured lots of cash into acquiring the roster. And after that good performance at DreamHack Cluj-Napoca, they haven't been able to replicate it. But they seem okay online, and hopefully they can get back on track and earn some more money for their organization and get some higher placings in tournaments, because they were a really exciting roster, and that core is still there, but we'll see what happens with them. Now, Heroic, although in my opinion are the third best Danish team and for some time peaked to possibly even top 2 in Denmark, they finish with such low prize pools, and that's mainly because they got disqualified from E-League due to SK, the organization, acquiring the Brazilians, and that basically makes their prize money a bit unfair. Now, if they went to the finals and it wasn't for the disqualification, and if they finished in last place at the finals, then they would have made 16th place on this list with at least $129,000 of prize money. Now, last time I calculated for you how much money was in the pro scene off the top 20 teams for the first 4 months alone, which was approximately $2.6 million. Now we have 4 more months under our belt, and the top 20 teams for prize money have acquired $6.6 million in all the 8 months that we've seen for CSGO so far. And in the period between May and August of 2016, $4 million has been given to the top 20 teams. And that's about it as far as fun facts goes. Now, I'm sure that the rest of you understand how good teams like Na'Vi and G2 are, so you can investigate that yourself. But it's very interesting to see the progression of teams and just how much money is in the professional CSGO scene now. I can honestly say that this game isn't in a bubble anymore, and I'd have to probably credit that to E-League putting the game on TV. As a result, it seems like more and more teams and possibly even players and people are realizing the legitimacy of esports. And that's pretty evident with big Chinese companies like Alibaba entering the fray with WESG. And it's clear to see that CSGO is here to stay a little bit longer, guys. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to talk about the prize money, leave a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe if you want part 3 for the final 4 months of the year and a big wrap up for all the prize money in 2016. I also lately did a GTX 1060 review of an Asus Strix card. You can check out the 2 videos that are on my channel or in the card in the top right hand corner of this video. I'm Karma, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.